Thank you for tuning in to my official YouTube channel, Reverend MeeLing. I am Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori Belle. Been known by quite a few names. Now, I'm kind of in a little bit of a temper tantrum aspect. I don't deny that. Mainly at this point in time because of discussing my Medal of Honor art project. And I am not upset about my Medal of Honor art project. I'm very proud of it. I never hid that. That would be why I actually had it when I first set up my website. That would be why I had it as the first tab after the home page, because I was so proud of the artwork that was completed because of the inspiration from each one of the Medal of Honor recipients, that not only I was able to complete my Medal of Honor artwork in the way that I could, but because of my constitutional rights that not only are my birthright, but also because of all of the males and females throughout the United States of America's armed forces and law enforcement and fire department and EMS who have done what they could to keep the country safe, but specifically the armed forces of the United States of America who fought to keep those constitutional rights for the citizens of the United States of America. I wouldn't have my constitutional rights if it wasn't for those guys. I wouldn't be able to look as I do. I wouldn't be able to speak as I speak. Despite the fact that I dealt with the head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 when I was in basic training, which I fought to be emancipated from my biological parents so that way I could join the Army branch of the United States of America's Armed Forces, despite my headaches, despite my migraines, despite the subarachnoid hemorrhage on the frontal lobe of my brain that took years to go away, that caused the memory problems and the cognitive disorders, and where I went from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to second grade math. Still proud of the fact that because of those guys who earned the Medal of Honor, because of the individuals that those guys who earned the Medal of Honor were doing what they could to protect, to serve, to defend the Constitution of the United States of America, despite the fact that they only earn a Medal of Honor during the time of war. Still, those guys did what they could to protect their fellow guys, male and female, in that regard. Because there are female civilians, right? Or am I inaccurate on that? I think I am accurate. So, in reference of the individuals who purposefully took dog poop to desecrate the individual markers, the 6 specific ones that I spent hours cleaning, so that way I could complete my Medal of Honor art project. Now, I didn't have to clean the entire epitaph. I could have just cleaned the small section that I was going to do the rubbing of. No. I cleaned the entire epitaph because of my respect. Now, thinking about such, what type of individual, I mean, I've labeled them as cherubim ones, because if you research cherubs, they are not actually what people think of as far as in this era. Cherubs are actually demonically possessed individuals from hell. That's what they are. So, because they're cute in comparison to the angel of death. The angel of death is a skeletal face with wings. That's what the angel of death, that's how it is represented. So the aspects of changing the view on markers throughout cemeteries to the cherubs or cherubim, they have a specific look. And so in my thoughts, I'm wondering what type of individuals would be so arrogant to not only literally, not just figuratively, but literally put feces all over 6 different Medal of Honor recipient markers. Cherubim, or cherubs for short. What type of individuals would actually take the time to do that? I can't really call them human beings, because human beings have a sense of humanity. There is no humanity in what was done. What was done in regards to what was caused to the various aspects in reference of like the traffic issues in 2017. Hypothetically, if those individuals knew that I was on my Medal of Honor art project trip with my son that particular year, who was a minor that particular year, not forgetting whoever was in the traffic behind the cars, if they had any minors in their cars in reference to the red Hyundai with the individuals in it that were causing the traffic backup. What type of people would that be? I can't really call them people, because they are Homo sapiens sapiens. That is accurate. People, well, by technicalities, there's more than one, which that would be technically accurate. However, what type of person? Well, okay, you can, one individual, human being. Again, I can't really call those individuals who would cause such problems as such. Not in a way where I would feel comfortable. So, the term cherub or cherubim makes perfect sense to me. I doubt at this point in time I'm the only one, because what type of individual would actually think it would be a good idea to cause problems on purpose, maliciously, specifically maliciously, to a Medal of Honor art project? Can't really call them human beings, once again. That requires humanity, which would be obviously something, in my opinion, that they don't have. Because if they had humanity, then they would, know better. So hypothetically speaking, if my ex-in-laws, specifically Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, and or her children that, she bred, Sondra Marie Osteen and Ariel Marie Osteen. Well, they were the types of individuals that I knew when I knew them. I mean, they did put those religious symbols into their dead brother, meaning Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen's dead brother, and Sondra Marie and Ariel Marie Osteen, their dead uncle's casket, knowing that he was an atheist. Knowing that. It wasn't like that was hidden. There was everybody in his family who knew he was an atheist. There were people who he associated with who knew he was an atheist. There were people, like, for example, me, his ex-wife, who knew he was an atheist. There were people that weren't even friends or associates of him that knew he was an atheist because of their discussions with him. So, in such, where Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, as well as Susie Marie Nichols Lopez, thought it would be a funny prank to contact the St. Patrick's Cathedral of the Holy Roman Catholic Church to complete the funerary rites for their dead brother. They thought it would be funny. They thought it would be a great prank. I spoke against it. I was made fun of for it. I don't see why, as the only executrix, not only that, but I think I'm a decent human being. I at least try and do the best that I can. So, I told them as the only executrix, not as only the ex-wife, but specifically as the executrix, not to do such. They did not heed my warnings. If, hypothetically speaking, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen and or Susie Marie Nichols Lopez, along with decided to rally together to cause problems to my Medal of Honor art project because of the fact, partially, that, yes, I did return that bronze star, and they were obviously upset about that because I refused to get the answers that they wanted. For example, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen wanted the answers in specific for various aspects in reference to her dead brother / spiritual husband about the intricacies when he was stationed in Iraq. I told her it was none of her business. I told her that what occurred in Iraq is what occurred in Iraq. And one of the aspects that Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen had to know about, was the female that her dead brother, spiritual husband, was involved with, Becky Cockerham. I told Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen I had a feeling that her dead brother was doing what he could to try to get me to be jealous, because he didn't discuss Becky Cockerham on any phone call with me. If he was genuinely attempting certain things, he would have brought that up. Knowing his personality, would have brought that up. Just saying. And so, well, if she existed, which possibly she did, or does, maybe that is actually a name, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, ironically, wanted to know about her. I told her that was not nearly as important as the stuff that I was dealing with to ensure other aspects in reference to my son and my daughter for the memorial aspect, as well as in a specific manner why he was awarded the Bronze Star. Yet he had gotten noticed because he had self-awarded himself multiple medals and ribbons that were not in his military record, and not in a blacked out sort of way, just not there at all. So, for example, he, in his dress blues, was wearing, as it was pointed out to me, a Vietnam service ribbon. My dead ex-husband was born in 1976. Just saying. And that was only one of the ribbons. When the Chief Warrant Officer 3 at the funeral home, Laurelland Funeral Home in Fort Worth, Texas, had pointed out several ribbons and specifically brought up 3 different Purple Hearts. And Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, Susie Marie Nichols Lopez, Grandma Nichols, as well as Sondra Marie Osteen, and Ariel Marie Osteen, as well as Brianna Marie Lopez. No. And damn near jumped on the table to go after that Chief Warrant Officer 3. I decided that was going to be the end of that discussion because of the way that went, and I was like, Chief, you smoke? You smoke, Chief? And Chief Warrant Officer 3 at an E5 infantry soldier's funeral. Yeah, I smoke cigars. Cool, let's go. I'll grab my cigarettes. We're going to go for a walk because obviously this is an issue. And so we went for a walk, and after my ex-in-laws finally went back and essentially retreated, the Chief Warrant Officer 3 and I continued talking, and he asked me about various things I could remember, if I would be surprised certain ways, and I explained several things, which my ex-sisters-in-law did not want to listen to. They did not believe when I told them that their dead brother / spiritual husband had lied about IRR, or Individual Ready Reserve. When they asked me for examples, I said, okay, well, your dead brother said that he was called on IRR and that he could choose where he was stationed. Your dead brother said when he was pulled on IRR that he could choose to be an officer instead of what rank he was when he was enlisted. Your dead brother tried to tell me when he got called on IRR that he could choose a whole bunch of other things. Anybody with any understanding of the United States of America's armed forces is going to know, understand, and comprehend. If you get called on IRR, or Individual Ready Reserve, you are not going to tell whichever branch of the United States of America's armed forces where you want to be stationed. No, you are not going to do that. You can make a request. 10 times out of 10, you're going to be denied of that request. Just saying, if you get called on IRR, that's not how that works. That means the United States of America's Armed Forces has declared an emergency situation, and you are going to go wherever the United States of America's Armed Forces sends you to. And that does not matter which branch you are in. That does not matter whether you are in the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, or the Navy of the United States of America's Armed Forces. My ex-sisters-in-law tried to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about, and maybe if I had graduated basic training instead of having the head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, maybe I would actually understand. I think, hypothetically, I understood. I have a feeling I could be inaccurate, but I think I might be right. I think there might be at least one military guy. Maybe 3. I don't know. I don't want to push it too far. Who could possibly say if somebody gets called on IRR, you're not going to tell the military where you are going to go. The military is going to tell you where you're going to go. I could be inaccurate, but I think fairly certain. I said the number 3 because, you know, there's the enlisted, the chief warrant officer, and the officer rank. So maybe one of each of those ranks could possibly say, you are correct. To me, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody, I don't know. Or maybe there's a veteran somewhere that could be like, absolutely, you are not going to tell the United States of America's Armed Forces where you're going to be stationed if you're called on individual ready reserve. That's just not how that goes. I could be inaccurate. I would guesstimate I am 100% clear on that. Maybe it doesn't even have to be somebody associated with the military. It could even be a civilian who could say, you know what? Looked it up. You don't get to tell the army where you're going to go. I could be, you know, I could be a little kooky. That's fine. However, I think I am 100% accurate on that. Not being cocky, being kooky. There is a difference, nonetheless. So, in that regard, if hypothetically my ex-in-laws thought it would be a good idea for their version of revenge, the way Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., had thought it would be a good idea to have his revenge against the city of San Antonio in reference to his then girlfriend at the time of the 151 Road Warrior Mad Max thing during the Fiesta, Texas, San Antonio thing. Along with the revenge, because she had, you know, been denied certain something another, and she wanted to be an infamous artist. While claiming that the red canvas was like a masterpiece. Just the red canvas. Just a canvas in red. That's it. Not enough. That, to Jamie Robles, also known as Lazy Eye. She argued with me that she considered that a masterpiece. Not Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. No. The red canvas. Not anything that Monet has done. The red canvas. So she wanted to be as infamous of an artist as whoever, I don't even know the artist's name who painted the red canvas. Not being rude, just pointing that out as fact. I know the name Picasso. I know the name Monet. I do not know who painted the red canvas. Sure, somebody does. Know the name Michelangelo. I know the name Da Vinci. Just pointing that out there. So, you know, similarly, if hypothetically, Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., whose his portion of the revenge against the city of San Antonio was partially because of one of the guys who was in the ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, who was a part of the group who called him Cactus Jack because during a field exercise, he tripped, fell, and landed on a patch of cactus. And instead of, you know, being a man and dealing with it, he acted like a little boy, in my opinion, although I'm probably not the only one. And so him, meaning Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., along with Lazy Eye, also known as Jamie Robles, had set that up. As far as the 1604 loop, his aspect in reference to Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., since I know it annoys him, I can't help but giggle. Nonetheless, if Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., whether in reference of what was done in regards to the 151 Road Warriors and the Mad Max thing at the Alamo Draft House during the Fiesta San Antonio, Texas thingamabob, partially because of the name of Cactus Jack from the ROTC group, and that would be the 1604 loop aspect encompassing all 5 of the military branches. And then, you know, the other part of the aspect in reference to the week of Fiesta, because apparently there were days that that particular actor in Mad Max movie, something or another, was going to be not during the Fiesta San Antonio, Texas thing, because of Lazy Eye, also known as Jamie Robles, and her temper tantrum in reference to something where she was denied for the Fiesta San Antonio, Texas thing, was either a part of, in reference to causing problems to my Medal of Honor art project, and or inspired in reference to my ex-sisters-in-law. So if I had to come up with my own nicknames for Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, Ooh. I haven't thought about that before. A nickname for Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen. If hypothetically she caused problems to quite a few things after denying assistance to my daughter and my son. Well, I have an idea. If somebody gets cancer and it is not harmful, it is considered benign. Malignant Mary. That kind of rolls off very easily. Hypothetically, if she had a part to cause problems in that regard, after which she caused problems for in reference to my son and my daughter. Though I could also call her Bloody Mary, because there was a time where she got bit in the face by a dog. And I don't mean me, because I was born in the year of the dog. I mean her mom's dog, Julio, who had actually bit her in the face, and then her face was all bloody. And then it scared her 2 daughters, Sondra Marie and Ariel Marie Osteen, as Julio, the Chihuahua, who looked like he swallowed a football, with little toothpick legs running around, chasing Sondra Marie and Ariel Marie Osteen. So then, in that regard, so what would the nicknames be for Sondra Marie Osteen and Ariel Marie Osteen if they had caused problems? Ooh. Ooh. That. I mean, stupid Sondra is just too simple. Sad Sondra. No, it's just. Well, since it was explained to me, and there would be medical records that could prove such, since my children's great-grandma told me about who Sondra was named after, which would be her mom, Malignant Mary, or Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, or Bloody Mary, Mary's aunt, Sondra, great-grandma Nichols had told me that Sondra, her daughter, was schizophrenic and had to be locked up because of schizophrenia, which in part I do agree that she did have certain aspects of schizophrenia. So schizophrenia, or schizzy Sondra. And since there's the aspects of the dog poop on my Medal of Honor recipients before completing my Medal of Honor art project, there is that. So Skidzy Sondra. I'm gonna be a little childish, I don't care. So, but yes, she was actually named after that particular aunt. But in truth, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen's, or Malignant Mary, or Bloody Mary, was the aunt Sondra was actually partially schizophrenic and partially she just had no idea how to deal with actually seeing and hearing spirits. That is very accurate in that regard. There were a few other issues in reference to the fact that Malignant Mary, also known as Mary Evangelina Nichols Osteen, also known as Bloody Mary, had defended incest, and so there is that aspect of that particular area. Nonetheless, so Skitsy or Skidsy Sondra. What else could I think of? I mean, there are many. I'm just trying to, Well, in regards to other aspects, you could make a joke of satanic Sondra. Or slithering Sondra, hypothetically, if there were the aspects of causing problems to my Medal of Honor art project. Now, in reference to Ariel Marie Osteen, if she had something to do with causing problems, along with angry Ariel. Something simple. Arrogant Ariel. It's supposed to be real short, right? It's supposed to be a short little thing. Annoying Ariel, that's just, well, and there you go, with some of the temper tantrums, annoying Ariel Marie Osteen, that could actually fit quite well. Autonomous Ariel, because of the amount of stuff she was into as far as techie stuff. artificial Ariel. Hey, AI! There you go. Just saying, hypothetically speaking, if there were problems caused by my Medal of Honor art project by those particular individuals. So there you go. That's just... But again, going back to what type of individual would think that that was a good idea? And not think that a whole bunch of individuals would get upset by that. I mean, if it was a revenge aspect against me because of, you know, multitude of different situations, how would you think that that would not anger a whole bunch of people? I mean, okay, yeah, me not figuring out the number aspect, that probably would have to do with cognitive disorders, as well as having gone from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to second grade math. Ooh. Causing issues to my technology stuff. Well, Best Buy's Geek Squad could very much be like, yeah, that's not... That's not difficult at all. That's not original. Let's see. And then again, causing problems in the different locations of the different cities of the states, the different branches of all the armed forces for the United States of America, the various religions, spiritualities, and non-religions alike. I genuinely cannot understand why anyone would think that'd be a good idea. Like, if that was your revenge against me. How pathetic of you to think that that would impress me, to cause problems to that. Because if you really think about it, you, in reference to the Medal of Honor recipients in the various locations, in reference to their markers, well, how much were you of a bully in that regard to cause problems to the dead? If you really think about it. In reference to making fun of my patriotism, how different are you than my biological parents, my biological sister, my dead ex-husband, Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kuykendall Jr., many others. So, not original. And I would guesstimate that I was made fun of for not picking up on that. So, I was being patriotic, enjoying the aspects of my Medal of Honor art project trips, being respectful in various ways. And if that was made fun of, so you made fun of me for painting? And being artistic in my own way? Well, what is your art? So, while obviously I'm extremely upset and quite aggravated about the problems in the various aspects, At least I'm not one of those cherubim ones. There's at least that. At least I maintained my humanity and my own dignity. I would guesstimate those cherubim ones cannot say the same thing. And if anybody was actually surprised that I would do the artwork the way I did, as far as my own version of patriotic artwork while being religious and spiritual and all that, has anybody ever heard me talk about fighting to be emancipated to join the United States of America's Armed Forces? Probably there's somebody who could say, yeah, there was maybe 1 or 2 times. Possibly. And not forgetting, while there were not that many in reference to the civilian sector who specifically knew, because of being there, when going up the chain of command in reference to the memorial aspect of my dead ex-husband for his biological children, my son, my daughter, technically his biological, but I was the one who raised him. That being said, while there were not many civilians who actually knew at that time in those locations of what I had done, I did discuss it a little bit later. So not being able to see me being patriotic, I don't know how that aspect would be difficult to see. But reiterating, I cannot call someone who purposefully, maliciously caused problems to my Medal of Honor art project a human being. Because what humanity would be there, realistically? If I'm inaccurate, please do let me know. You have the comment section and stuff like that. However, I think I'm fairly accurate in that regard. So, you guys have a good one. Like, share, and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. Go to my website, www.susanmeeling.com. And you guys have a good one.